morning, everyone. Welcome to Elisa Home and Garden. I am your host, Elisa. I just wanted to give you guys a plant update. As you can see, I have well over 100 different plants growing here, so let's get into it. So in here, we have all of my tomatoes growing. The first two rows, I have all of my cherry tomatoes. Look how big they've gotten. Oh my goodness, this is so exciting. I don't know anybody else that gets excited about plants other than a gardener. But anyway, and then further down the row near the end of the light, I have my Roma tomatoes. And then these two rows, I have my beefsteak tomatoes. So then we go over here. These are the peppers that I started in the second week of February. They're starting to get a woody stem, which is really good. Means the plants are nice and stable. You'll notice that some of the peppers are a little shorter than others. That's because I did a second succession of peppers, so I have a continuous supply of peppers throughout the summer. Then we move down to the next shelf. These are all of my nasturtiums and marigolds. Marigolds are a little short, probably because the nasturtiums are impeding the amount of light that they're getting. But I like to grow these because they're good companion plants for your tomatoes and peppers. They repel the bugs that go after them and eat them. Back here, I have some more peppers. And then I have some sage. This is a little more unorganized than I would like it to be. But some things wanted to grow at a slower rate than others, but that's okay. That happens. So I have some basil here. The rest of my basil is just scattered throughout. Then we go to the next shelf. I started these cucumbers probably about last week, maybe the week before, and they have sprouted so fast. I also soaked the seeds before I put them in the soil, and that really made them grow. In here, mainly I have your leafy greens. I do have some stalk flowers back in here. They're a little short. Here I have some scarlet kale. Over here, what do we have? Nero de Toscana kale. Lacinato kale. Back in here, you might laugh at me. So I took a grocery store lemon and I put it in a plastic bag, and I soaked it with water and I left it sit for a week, and every week I would check it and it grew roots. So eventually those will grow into lemon trees. I'm not 100% sure where I'm going to put them yet, but I was excited to try this experiment. So, I forgot. Here, these are pumpkins. They sprouted very quickly. In here, I have some more pumpkins. I have sugar pie, Long Island cheese pumpkin. I have butter baby squash. I have some watermelons growing. Jack B. Little pumpkin. Back here, I have my hibiscus roselle. That is amazing for tea. It is my favorite. I prefer hibiscus tea over any other flavor, as opposed to like your lavender teas and chamomiles. Hibiscus is my absolute favorite. I have some more peppers. By the end of the summer, I will have peppers up to my ears. It's insane how many I grew. Did I need that many? Not really, but it's not hoarding if it's plants. So it's fine. It's totally fine. Here I have some spinach. This is blue tea butterfly pea. So what's interesting about this, I got it from Botanical Interest, and when the flower blooms, it's blue, and you can use it in a tea. And in the cup, if you put something acidic in it, like lemon juice, it turns the blue color to purple. So I'm really excited to try that. I have some echinacea. And for the longest time, I was one of those gardeners who didn't want to grow things that I wasn't going to eat. But then as you learn, you realize that you need pollinators to help your garden thrive. So that's what a lot of these flowers are for: the bees, butterflies, ladybugs, etc. Over here, I have a lot of zinnias. Well, this whole tray is actually zinnias. This tray is all of my sunflower, well, most of my sunflowers. This one is American Giants. This is supposed to grow up to about 14 feet. Last year I grew the mammoth variety, and that was probably about 14 feet. The head was bigger than my head. I can share a picture of that. But I just absolutely love sunflowers. I think they're so pretty. Then we have Busy Bee sunflower, chocolate cherry, evening sun, fun and sun sunflower, mammoth sunflower, autumn favorites, Chianti, drop dead red, firecatcher, lemon queen, solar eclipse. Last night I started another succession of some flowers. I did some more marigolds to make up for the ones that are a little stunted over there. More zinnias. I think they're so pretty, especially the purple ones. And I have some more sunflowers. So this is what everything is looking like as of today. We are in April. And I won't be able to put a lot of these out into the garden until May 9th. So I moved them over to my dad's house because I have a very small space at my house and I have 6 cats, so I'm sure they would try to eat all of these, which would not be fun for me because of all of my hard work. But here they are, just thriving, and it just brings me so much joy. So sometimes what I like to do to help out the seedlings, if they have a seed up here stuck to them, I'll very, very gently just peel the seed off just to give it a little help with its sprouting. This is so exciting. This just makes me so happy. I highly recommend gardening. Everybody should start a garden, even if it's just a couple plants. If you struggle with your mental health, I find it is really helpful, and a garden is the promise of a new beginning, and I just think that concept is so wonderful. Also, another thing that I wanted to mention, sometimes the stems will curve or tilt to one side, especially if they're trying to reach their light source. So if I feel they're growing in a direction that I don't really want them to, I want everything nice and straight so it can support itself, I will take bamboo skewers and I'll break them in half or thirds, or just leave them whole depending on the size of the plant. So I find that's really helpful. So every couple of days, I will take these off the shelf and rearrange them. So I have my tomatoes on this side, so I will move them over here just so all of my plants get almost about the same amount of light. As you can see, some of them are bigger than others, so I don't want anybody hogging all of the light. You have to be extremely careful when they're in the seedling stage. When they're really small like this, I will show you my pepper plants. Be very, very careful. So the seedlings are very fragile and they can snap with even the slightest amount of pressure. And I find that leaves they stick to each other very, very easily. So if you see the thickness of this stem, that is very, very easy to snap. So use the lightest amount of pressure when moving them, especially when you're up potting them. Any type of movement, just be careful. What I also like to do, I'll even change how they are in the seed starting tray. I will put the tallest ones in the back and the shortest ones in the front. And I also like to take them out and put them on the table just so I can get a better look at all of them and see how everybody's doing. And obviously, so I can water them. Give you a closer look. So let's take a look at the stems on some of these. This one is Mocha Swirl. And this pepper, it once you get it to the fruiting stage, the peppers actually look like it has a swirl. It is either green with the swirl striping, or if you let it ripen to red. These may have been a little too close to the light, but that's okay. I don't think that'll harm the plant. And you need to check if they need water. These are extremely dry. So all you have to do to test if they need moisture, just stick your finger in the bottom of the pot. These are extremely dry, so I'm going to water these. And you also don't want to water them too much, because then you can develop a root rot, and nobody wants that. And I have learned that the hard way. A lot of gardening is basically trial and error and learning from your mistakes. And it is okay to make mistakes in gardening. That is how you learn. My mom always told me, everybody makes mistakes. That is why they put erasers on pencils. Like I've said previously, this is my 3rd year gardening. I am still learning. So I read a lot of books. I like to see what other gardeners do. It's important to do your research, and not everybody's gardening technique will work for you. You have to find what works for you and grow what you are going to eat. Don't dive right in and grow every single variety. You will become overwhelmed. I have a bad habit of doing that because I'm just so excited to see everything grow, but that's what you want to do? Awesome. When I water my plants, I use lukewarm water, and when you water any plant, do not, absolutely do not water the leaves. They will burn. Think of when you go to the beach and you come out of the ocean, you burn, right? So you just want to water the roots. I cringe when I see people water the leaves. I mean, it's okay if the sun is not out. I mean, I still don't recommend it, but you can burn the leaves. That's no good. This is what I was talking about when the leaves stick together and the leaves can rip. So I try to orientate these in a way where the leaves are not touching. But look how big everything got. It just brings me so much joy, makes me so excited. My dad makes fun of me, and my Nana laughs a little bit too about how excited I get over my plants. But they bring me joy, and if it makes you happy, it doesn't matter what other people think. Everybody has their own hobby that brings them joy, and I happen to like my granny hobbies. I love to crochet, I love to garden, I love to paint, draw. I like to do nail art. I like getting these stamping plates. Sometimes I do freehand nail art, but I have hyperthyroidism and sometimes I get the really bad shakes. So doing freehand is not always ideal for me because things look like chicken scratch or a doctor's signature. So be nice and don't hate on people that don't do art freehand. Some of us get the shakes and we don't have a steady hand all the time. So be nice. This is Thornburn's Terracotta Tomato. I got this seed variety from Baker Creek. And you see how it's leaning like that? I'm gonna need to put a bamboo skewer on it to hold it up. I'm out of tall bamboo skewers because I broke them all in half just so I would have enough for everybody. So I'll have to go to the dollar store and pick some up, and that's okay. I have a feeling I'm gonna have to move some of these around because, as you can see, some are taller than others. I hope I'm not boring you. I was so excited to start this channel because I just want to share my love of gardening with other people, and it's growing your own food is very, very rewarding, and it tastes better than the grocery store, in my opinion. I know a lot of people that will agree with me on that one. And when you grow it yourself, you know you're not being poisoned. Okay, so those are my pepper plants watered. Now I'm going to get down my tomatoes. Very, very careful. These are very dry. But look how tall they are. This is so exciting. I said it once, I've said it a million times. You really should start a garden. I think Martha Stewart said that quote, if you want to be happy for a year, get married. If you want to be happy for 10 years, get a dog. If you want to be happy for life, start a garden. And I cannot agree with that more. Also, if you're worried about getting the leaves wet, there is something called bottom watering, where you don't even have to water inside the seed starting cup. You could just put water in the tray and the roots will suck up the water. It's okay if a little water goes on the leaves. It's not a big deal. It's just not my favorite thing in the world to happen. I need a bigger watering can because this is just, it takes about one of these to fill each tray. In the summertime, I will spend all day outside in my garden. I will come in the house covered in dirt, all sunburned, but I literally could not be happier. I enjoy the beach as well, but the garden makes me just as happy. And when I'm out in the garden, I do not bring my phone with me, unless I'm taking pictures or videos of what I have grown or am currently growing, because I don't want to be bothered. So if I'm out in the garden, that's me time. Leave me alone. One day, I would like a house on a couple of acres, and I just dream of having a Highland cow. I think they are so adorable, but that's a ways down the road, so we'll see where this channel takes us. Okay, so I just want to show you what I was talking about, where some of these stems are a little bit curved and some of them are tilting onto one another. So I will take the seed starting pots and I'll face them the other direction. A lot of these look like they're going to need some bamboo skewers to hold them up and put them in a straighter position. Then I can put them back up here and move on to the next shelf, and the next shelf. Okay, so I switched the tomatoes to this side and I moved the peppers over here, and I have the shorter ones in the front, longer ones in the back, like I said. Now we will move on to the flowers and miscellaneous plants that I have on this shelf. Well, everything is all nice and watered. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If it's not too much trouble, I'd really appreciate it if you would like or subscribe to my channel. It would really help me out. Happy gardening!